Welcome to Mysterious Encounters. Look up tonight, not at the stars, at the thing that stares back. The moon. It's the only object in the sky that feels personal. It doesn't just hang there. It follows you. It watches. It changes. And without asking your permission, it reaches into the ocean and moves it. We are taught to think of the moon as decoration, a lamp, a romance filter, a background asset. But that is not what it is. The moon is a mechanism, a clock without numbers, a tide control system, a psychological mirror, a silent governor over the living world. And if you want to understand why humans have been obsessed with it since the beginning of memory, you have to understand one unsettling idea. The moon doesn't just orbit Earth, it tunes Earth. Start with what we can prove. The moon pulls the oceans. That's basic gravity. But notice what that implies. If the moon can move an entire ocean, it can move anything made of water. And you are mostly water. Not just your blood, not just your skin, your brain, your eyes, your inner ear, the fluid that balances you, the electrical chemistry that decides your mood, your hormones, your sleep, your hunger, your stress. So the question isn't, does the moon affect us? The question is, how could it not? Now go deeper. Because the moon doesn't just pull water, it pulls cycles. It creates rhythm. A month is a moon cycle. Ancient timekeeping didn't start with clocks. It started with the moon. The moon was the first calendar, the first metronome, the first sacred measure. Because the moon does something no sun ever did. It changes shape. It teaches transformation. It teaches death and return, disappearance and reappearance. The oldest human lesson. This is why the ancients didn't treat the moon like a rock. They treated it like an intelligence. Not necessarily a being, but a law. A living pattern. A God-shaped function in the sky. In Egypt, the moon is stitched into ritual time festivals, offerings, temple schedules, because the moon doesn't just mark days. It marks when the veil is thin. In Mesopotamia, the moon god is not secondary. He is a ruler of measurement, a keeper of cycles. In Greece, the moon becomes a triple symbol, waxing, full, waning, maiden, mother, crone. Not because they were being poetic, because the moon is the first thing that teaches humans. You are not one stable identity. You are phases. And then there's the strangest part. The moon is perfectly placed. It is the exact size in the sky to cover the sun. Total eclipses are possible because the moon is just right. Not too small, not too big. Precise. A cosmic coincidence so clean it feels engineered. And humans have always noticed that feeling, that too perfect feeling. The sense that the moon is not just a random object, but a designed interface between Earth and sky. A lens, a filter, a dial. Now we enter the rabbit hole. Because there are two moons, the moon of physics and the moon of the mind, the moon of tides and the moon of symbols. And the symbolic moon is dangerous because it interacts with human psychology the way gravity interacts with water. It pulls, it amplifies, it makes what's already inside you louder. That's why the moon became a myth engine, a trigger, a confession light, a mirror that turns the unconscious into theater. Even the word lunatic is a fossil of this belief that lunar cycles could disturb the mind. Modern science debates the strength of moon mood effects. But here's the part people miss. Whether or not the moon causes anything, humans behave as if it does, and what humans believe shapes what humans do. Which means the moon doesn't need supernatural power to control outcomes. It only needs symbolic power. Because symbols direct behavior, and behavior becomes reality. So here's the real question. If the moon is the oldest calendar, the oldest ritual timer, the oldest psychological amplifier, then who benefits from you forgetting that? Who benefits from you no longer living by cycles, but by screens? by alarms, by schedules divorced from sky and body, because the easiest way to control a person is to sever them from natural rhythm, to make their life a straight line, to make time feel like a treadmill, to make rest feel like guilt, to make sleep feel like weakness, to make your inner tides irrelevant. A human disconnected from cycles is easy to program. A human who remembers cycles becomes unpredictable. So what if the moon program isn't a conspiracy out there? What if it's a conspiracy in here? A system of disconnection we have bought into? What if the aliens who built the moon were just the first farmers, the first kings, the first priests, the ones who realized if you can convince a civilization to forget its own rhythm, you can sell it a new one. You can make them pay for time, for meaning, for permission to rest. So look up at the moon tonight and ask yourself, who taught me to see it as a dead rock? Who benefits when I ignore its pull? And what would happen if I started to listen again?